Welcome archers and bowyers to the Organic Archery channel. Today I'm going to show you how I sharpen my draw knives for bow making. All you'll need to sharpen draw knives is a combination whetstone, a jar of water, a leather strop, some aluminum polish, and an old rag. The first step will be to fully saturate the whetstone. I just drop it in the water and wait for all of the bubbles to escape from the stone. You'll see that I'm using a 400 and 1000 grit combination stone. I think this is a good one just for an all-around shop edge, especially for bow making where you're just moving heavy material, and it'll still get razor sharp. You'll find a lot of tutorials online where the stone is placed on a flat surface and the blade is drawn against the stone, but I don't like this method because I can't see the bevel as well, so I prefer to freehand sharpen. To freehand sharpen, I just wedge the draw knife into my chest and I tilt the stone so that it is right on the bevel, and then I lock my wrist into the same angle and move the stone in a circular motion up and down the blade. How much sharpening your blade requires is going to depend on whether or not it's damaged or whether it needs the bevel reestablished. So if you need to do heavy material removal, you might consider using something more aggressive like a 240 grit stone. But for general maintenance and taking out small chips, the 400 and 1000 combo works great. Here I've flipped the knife over to the flat side and I'm just doing a few passes, and it's very important that you keep the stone perfectly flat to the blade on the back. You do not want to establish a secondary bevel on the flat side of your knife. Use your old shop rag to wipe off the excess sludge from the sharpening process, and then I like to roll it around in the light, which will reveal any chips or areas that need a little more attention. To finish things off, I'll put a little bit of aluminum polish on my homemade strop. This one's from a scrap piece of oak and an old leather belt. And it's pretty dry, so I'm going to put a decent amount of polish on there. Then I'll take the strop and, starting on the bevel side, do quite a few passes just to make sure if there is a burr, it gets rolled over to the flat side. And then flip it over to the flat side and finish knocking off the burr and polishing the edge with a few passes. Then carefully remove any excess metal polish, make sure you don't get cut, and test the edge for sharpness. I threw in a curved knife just to show you it's the exact same process and to give myself time to cover two more points. The first is you'll notice a lot of bowyers online talking about how it's beneficial to use a dull draw knife, and it boils down to personal preference, but I can't stand a dull draw knife. They do give you more room for error, but they make everything much more difficult. The second thing is the amount of maintenance your draw knife requires is going to depend entirely on the quality of the steel. Cheap draw knives from the hardware store are probably going to need sharpened almost every time you use them, whereas a quality vintage blade may only need touched up every few projects. And I have a couple of handcrafted custom knives that hold a pristine edge and only need to be sharpened 2 or 3 times per year. Let me know in the comments section what you'd like to see covered in future Bowyer's Bench videos, and thanks for watching.